melt is when I'm ocean waves.
Tonight on Never Legends podcast, I have Oakton Coach Fred Priester back again, and his Cougars going to a state quarterfinals. I don't know how many it's been, but it's been quite a few. But Coach, congratulations and thanks for coming back.
Thanks. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and it's nice to be back in the state tournament. We have been pretty fortunate over the years, and this one's maybe a bit of a surprise to a lot of people, but at the same time, that maybe makes it better.
Yeah, I think the region was much more balanced this year. I think, obviously Madison's back at state, and they had Coach Stone does a great job, and they have a good team again. But I think Robinson maybe was probably maybe the strongest team in the area for the year, but I think it was pretty balanced all year.
Right. Yeah. I mean, with the way they have this set up now, we don't get to see a great deal of the people over in the other region, which is like a mile away from here. But anyway, but yeah, no, there's no question. Robinson is, the coach of Robinson, TJ Dade. He's a great friend of mine, and we go back a long way. And I tell him all the time, he's probably, now that he's not in our region, because we used to go to Robinson all the time. It was like our second home court, but because we got to play a lot of games there. But I told him, I said, "You're my second favorite team in the state now."
That's right.
So right after Oakton, you're my second favorite. So I'm glad that things are going well for them, and I know all of his staff. I coached one of them, and it's just I'm glad to see that they're doing well.
Yeah, Coach State's doing a great job. Oakton coming into this season, you did. I know you lost the point guard. I think Sophie Zinzi, I believe her name was.
Correct.
And you had a solid team last year. And I know you had a trip planned to Hoosier Land, which you told us about on an earlier podcast. Do you think that helped you guys get prepared for this season?
I do. I think that you start the season every year with it's kind of a blank slate, and you're not 100% sure where it's going to go. I mean, I'd say we're sort of still on. I mean, we had a fantastic run. I mean, from 2003 to 2014, we averaged 26 wins a season and won 11 districts and 6 regions and state and, state semifinals a bunch. And, in each one of those times, we had, great natural breaks, and after 2001, they said, that's Oakton's done now. And, we won 18 games that next year. And then, after Jasmine left, they said, Oakton's done. And then we won 22 games in a district after that. And then when the Coyer twins left, same thing. And we won 22 games after that. So we've had a really good run. But after 2017, when we went to the state final, we lost to Shakira Austin, who's in the WNBA now. And, thought, okay, they're finally done. And it looked like maybe they were right. We had a tough year. We finished last in the district, the only really losing season we've ever had in the district. And, but then we won 3 straight and won the district again. So, and then, since then in our so-called down period, we've won 19 and 18 and 19 and 21. So a lot of people would be happy with those kind of down years. I think that each year has been completely different for us, and I wasn't sure how it would go, but anyway, we started off, and I wasn't sure what kind of record we'd be carrying with us when we went out to Indiana, but I knew we were playing the number 1 team in the state at the time. They're number 3 at this moment, because the number 1 team in the state is like number 4 in the country. But at any rate, the kids came together. We had a good time. I felt really good about, giving them a little bit of an inside view of maybe a little bit of who I am and why I am and what makes me me. And I think it really took off. Now then, so we did well when we came back, and then we got in the district. Our district is really, really challenging. If you looked at the non-district records of the teams in our district, even the teams that finished at the bottom of our district, you'd see that much like it was back in that year we finished last, any one of those teams can beat you. As you know, Chantilly beat Centerville, which is a very good team, and so everybody was sort of taking shots at each other, and Madison did won most of their games, but we gave them a struggle in the first two games during the district, and then we were able to have things work out for us in the district semifinal. I don't know if you were there, but things didn't work out so well on Friday night. But
I was there.
They played very well. They shot 55% from the field, and we kind of lost focus a little bit in the third quarter. We were still in the game, I think, at that point, and then we kind of lost focus there for a while. And that happens. Hopefully, it doesn't happen to you in games that are advancement games, but it did. And credit to them, they played well and deserved to win. But we had the advantage of knowing that we would get another chance to play, and so here we are heading towards a game on Friday.
Yeah, well, Coach, how would you describe this team as compared to the other teams, and not necessarily if they're as good as the teams, but in terms of the way they play and the type of personnel that you have?
Well, I mean, we're super small. I mean, we have one kid who's 5'10". We have another kid who's 5'10", but she's been out really since right before the district tournament, and she played a few minutes in a few of the games, but really was not available to us at that point. She was a second team all district player. So then we went smaller still. We got a bunch of guards who are about 5'5", and but you can't, you hear this, I guess, all the time. You can't measure heart with a tape measure, and they play with heart, and they play with intelligence, and they play with a passion. And even though we struggle at times, against teams that in our district that are where there's lots and lots of emotion going on and things like that, we did very well outside of our district, and we're going to show up for every game. We're not going to back down. And even I mean, after Saturday morning, after the Madison game, I took them all to breakfast at First Watch, and we had a little meeting afterwards and talked about some things we could have done differently and things like that, and called it a day, and went back to work on Monday. So I think everybody's 0-0 right now, and that's what everybody says, and it's true. So we watched. Not together, but I watched, and many of them watched the Iowa-Indiana game, and a great ending there. But I told them, I said, here's one of the things I would like for you to take away from that, and that is that the previous game to that, Iowa lost to Maryland by 30. So, lesson can be learned from that. We're back to just playing them one game at a time, and this is an opportunity for us to go out. If we're going to go out with a better taste in our mouth. And at the same time, we have a better chance to win the game against Robinson than all the people that aren't going to be there, So that's whatever chance people give us, we got a better chance than a lot of schools.
And it's an honor to have the opportunity. So Coach, when and where is the game against Robinson?
It's at Fairfax. I don't have any idea how they figure all this stuff out. It's at Fairfax, and it's a little later than usual. The games are 7:45.
Okay, I think the boys' games are at 7, so maybe
Well, I guess it's okay to say we have one of our players that's in a huge concert out at South Lakes, and so they were kind enough to adjust the time a little bit so she could get from South Lakes to there and be there pretty close to starting time, and so that was very kind of them to do.
Yeah, that's class act. So what are some of the keys to victory for you to beat Robinson?
Well, I mean, they're like I say, I know TJ a long time. He's a great friend, and I know that he will have them ready to go. I could say something about them being bigger than us, but I have to say that every game. So they do have size. That's something that we'll have to contend with on some level. We've been every game is a challenge. You have to take a look at what they do best and what you do best and try to figure out some way to make that all fit together in a way that gives you a chance to win the game. I mean, there's no doubt about it that we're the underdog. And, but I told the kids today, I said, growing up when and where and how I did, as many years as people thought of us being the overdog, emotionally and psychologically, I feel like I'm an underdog every morning when I get out of bed. So, if you think about it, what is the deal with an underdog? You're supposed to lose, and the overdogs, we'll call them the top 1%, they're supposed to win. Okay. So, I think that then if you are the underdog, that kind of informs some things for you. First of all, I think you have to bring all your resources and effort and ability and talent and everything to try to be successful. And I think there's a responsibility that comes with that, because once again, I guess it speaks to my worldview. I feel like, the vast majority of us are underdogs most of our lives. And so I think the responsibility comes with doing all that you can to win, because if you do, it gives hope to the rest of the planet, and helps them with their motivation to get up and keep plugging away and keep doing things. And so I think there's a responsibility that comes with being an underdog. And so I told the kids that it's a privilege and a responsibility to go out and do the very best that we can, regardless of the result. And so I know that's a little bit more cosmic than people might think, but I really do feel that. And I feel like, there's people out there every single day beating the odds, the single mothers that have got to get up and take care of their kids and get to work and get them fed and do all that stuff like that. They're underdogs too, So, I'm not comparing a basketball game to what they have to do, but I'm just telling you the concept of an underdog involves the responsibility to bring everything you've got. And so that's what we'll do on Friday night.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you do. Well, Coach, look, it's always great to talk to you. You continue to add to an incredible legacy that you put together at Oakton and also McLean. And it's going to be a great game. Your team's always come to play. So I do wish you the best of luck. And who knows, as you're saying, you got to play the games. And Coach Priester's team's always come to play. And I watched your team the other day. They're definitely a spunky bunch. They definitely, they have some guards that can play, and hopefully they'll play to your liking, and it'll be a great game.
Well, we hope so. As I said, it's we just want to bring everything we've got, and keep our focus longer and shoot a little better. And I always tell the kids, I said, winning is not the most important thing. Trying to win is the most important thing. And so if we go out there and we try out to win and we bring all of our resources, I'll be fine.
Yeah. That's great, Coach. It's a great life lesson. And look, again, I wish you the best luck. Thanks for always being a great sport and jumping on. And, if things go well, maybe I'll be talking to you next week.
Okay. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Okay. Thank you.
Coach. Again, best of luck.
All right. Take care.
All right.